Hey friend, welcome to the Coach B Experience podcast. We have another action-packed, value-stacked, real and raw episode for you. Remember, it does not benefit you to just listen. I want you to remember three things. Take fast action, get a result, and grow from your experiences. You have power in your choice. Let's dive into today's experiences. All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Coach B podcast. I'm actually here with Storm and Air Bryant. What's up, guys? How y'all doing?
What's great. How you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm excited. I think, even before we were talking about how excited I was to have you guys on the show. For everyone listening, I actually call them the Jay-Z and Beyoncé of Forex because they are behind the scenes. They are making moves, making their money, but they're not voicing it like everybody else. But they're very strategic. I'm saying the word right, but very strategic on how they move and what they do. So I had to have them on the show just because I think they are really the first two people online that are very authentic, very true to themselves, and everything they do is from the heart. I've had great conversations with Storm now and with Air, previous too. But first, this is not about me, and I'm not going to go on a rant. But Storm and Air, ladies first, maybe gentlemen before ladies. Someone share, what is the story? Like, what's your personal stories, and then how did you guys meet?
You go first.
No, and if you guys hear Legendary,
I was gonna say, yeah, we have almost a nearly 2-year-old. So if you're hearing anything crazy, this is a part of our day-to-day life, being transparent here.
No, I love it.
Yeah.
No, you go first.
Okay. So you said first, to start off with my story.
Yeah. What's your story, Storm? Like, how did you? Let's talk about like how did you come to being the Beyoncé of Forex trading? Let's talk about it.
Well, to be honest, I don't think that I literally have never had anyone say, ask me that question specifically. I wouldn't consider myself that, but I'm very honored because Beyoncé is one of my sheroes, one of my icons. Honestly, as far as getting going with Forex, I'll say, how did I get into it? I actually was doing network marketing. And I was doing network marketing and I was doing really well. Naturally, I was most people don't know this about me. So fun fact, I was homeschooled my entire life. So I'm one of 6 children and I was homeschooled my entire life. Both of my parents are entrepreneurs. So, I grew up like traveling the world, watching them they own multiple businesses. My mom owned boutiques. She later became like a business coach, success coach. But my father, he's big in real estate. He owned a supported employment company. And, fast forward, we were doing all this stuff with them constantly, like growing up. And I always loved the fact that I got to spend time with my family. That was something that I felt like most people didn't have. Just being that I was with them 24/7. I was a little cashier, I learned how to handle money young. And so I really grew into wanting to do the same thing. I actually said I wanted to go to the WNBA. I played competitive basketball all the way up until my junior year in high school. And wow. I said, you know what? I don't want to do this. Like all my friends, they were starting to be like, all right, senior year, let's get it. Let's go to college and play ball. And I didn't even play my senior year in high school. I was like, you know what? I don't want to do this. And I started doing network marketing. One of my friends was like, you're popular. You can get so many people to sign up. And so I did it. And it was great. It was great. I went from working at a pizza place to Nike to, being able to make quite a bit of money from network marketing, just from, all from social media. And I hate to say it, but back then, it was just, being a pretty girl, you post online, hey, and then all of a sudden people come follow you and, people are sharing with their friends. And, I started ranking up in the company that I was doing. But fast forward, I got so tired of it. I got a really, like, it was a great taste of traveling, even to do, you guys know how it goes in network marketing. You're like, it's alive, especially young people, millennials. It was really impactful for me because I got to see so much. I saw so many people with, the cars that I wanted, the like travel that I wanted, the lifestyle. So I was just like, yo, I got to do this on a like big level. And after getting a pretty big team, I was worn out. I was like, how do people do this as a living? Like, trying to like coach other people, trying to tell other people how to recruit. I was good at recruiting, but a lot of people weren't. I was good at coaching a team, but it got exhausting trying to teach other people how to coach a team. Fast forward, I realized I don't want to do or be in the business of trying to make people believe in a product that's not mine, nor a product that they don't even believe in, for themselves. So I really sat down over the summer of myself graduating from high school, and I was like, what do I really want to try to get into? What can I make my money? How can I make my money shake? Because I had been building up money from living at home with my parents and just being in network marketing. And I started looking up two different things. Real estate was something my dad was doing. And of course, trading. And when I started looking up trading, I didn't know anything about Forex. Everything that I knew from trading was stocks all my life. When you hear people say that they were traders, you think of hedge funds. You think of, most modern, even 2018, everybody thinks Wolf of Wall Street, Yep. And it's not that. But that's what it's promoted as through media. And so when I saw Forex, it just so happened to be that one of my dad's friends was over and he was like, yo, like, you never heard of Forex? It's the currency market and blah, 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 blah. And my dad ended up paying for me to get a course. It was a very expensive course, actually, get trained privately by this guy that lived in the UK. And I started it was a 6-month course, and he only taught me for 3 months. And he, like, kind of speaking of what you said, he deleted everything. Like he cut off his phone line, cut off his Facebook. He was nowhere to be found, when it was time for us to have our session. And so by that time I had started doing pretty well. I was 3 months in, but I hadn't mastered, and I lost a lot of money just off top. And I still wasn't like discouraged to the point that I wanted to quit. I was actually more advantageous. I was like, I got to get this down because this can make me a lot of money, Yeah. So I started going crazy. I literally sat in my room all summer of my graduation year, literally just learning Forex. Like I was buying as much curriculum offline as I could. I was reading like all these different books. I started attending even stocks. Like most people don't know it, but I know how to trade, futures. I can trade stocks. I can do a lot of different platforms because I studied so many of them when I first got going. So, I learned a lot of different styles. And from there, I had my first really successful year. Like I was 18. I had my first very successful year. And some of my friends from network marketing were like, yo, people were trying to promote companies to me. And I was like, I don't want to do that. Do you know how much money I just made this year? I'm not doing that. And they were like, what? Like, what are you doing? Like, where have you been? And that was when I started kind of coaching. I was actually like, I didn't even plan on it. I just started out helping out a few friends from network marketing, and they started referring. So fast forward, that's even going into airs, like that's how we met, like referrals from friends that we both mutually knew. So yeah, that was kind of my like entrance into all of it. That was how I got going.
Dope. I love it. I love the way you shared how, it was kind of something that you were like, you've already been around it. And then you studied. And then you became a master of it. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't even say a master. I would say you're consistently like a student. You know what I'm saying? So, but Air, share. What is your story? And before you share your how you met Storm, I'll have one more question for you. But what's your story, Air?
Well, my story is a lot more colorful than that. I'll definitely say that. I'll give you the quickest version possible, but
Okay.
So in entrepreneurship, I like to tell people that I've been an entrepreneur since day one. Like, I'm pretty sure I would have been like selling my umbilical cord if I could have, if I would have known. But literally, there are stories of me that I don't even remember these things. But, you know, from being 3 years old, going out and selling birthday cake to kids in the trailer park or in the projects or wherever. Or, you know, we had a pond. I remember in the trailer park, I do remember being 5 years old and catching turtles. You know, that was free. I caught turtles and I caught frogs, and I sold those things for $3 a pop for people that wanted the turtles. They were just too afraid to go back to the pond themselves, but I did. Or, you know, getting like the free toys out of the cereal box and things like that. And, you know, I would tell every kid in the trailer park. We had this huge trailer park back then at that age. And literally I would tell everybody, hey, I'm going to have a big race. You know, everybody pays $1 every time you want to race. And whoever wins gets the toy. Well, the toy's free. I got it out of the cereal box. But, you know, there are literally like 60 kids my age. Like, this was a huge trailer park, and every trailer had multiple kids. So all these kids are paying me $1. I'm racking up. I'm 5, dude. I'm racking up. They're paying me $1 a race. I'm slapping a piece of paper with some tape on their back with a number or a smiley face, whatever. And you know, they're just racing, and I'm like, look, like, you know, 10 kids are racing at a time. I'm making $10 for this free toy. My mom's like, well, dang, you just paid for 2 boxes of cereal right there. Like, I was already an entrepreneur at that level. And then I can just remember, you know, even a little bit older, like 9 years old, you have these kids that break up and go together every single day. You have a new girlfriend every day. You have a new boyfriend every day. So I decided, hey, I'm going to make it official. I took a composition notebook, meet me under the slide. I am the quote unquote preacher. If you really want to date somebody, you have to get married to them. If your name is not in this book together, then you don't really date. So, you know, I always found a way to stamp things where I was like, okay, what's needed? Let me be the certifier, you know, the notary, if you will. Like, I am going to be the stamp of approval for whatever is going on. And people started going with it. They're like, oh, you don't really date. Let me go check. You know, my name was EJ, my nickname. Let me go check with EJ. Hey, EJ, is Jessica Champion single? I'm looking at my book. Yeah, she's single. She's for sure single. Like, Curtis might say he dated her, but he is not paid to put a ring on that. So, you know, they would come under the slide, and I'd marry them. They pay $1 to get married. Well, I knew that they would get, you know, divorced, quote unquote, the next day, most likely. So you had to pay me $2 in order to get divorced and get crossed out of that book. So I made it come up with that. I sold candy. I sold cookies. I sold condoms. Yeah, I sold all kinds of things growing up in school. I sold illegal substances. I did my fair share of everything. Made music and sold those CDs at school. I was always doing something to create income. As I became older as a teen, I noticed that we were all bored. So I started a teen club. And that's when that was for real money then. Like, you know, at 15, 16 years old, with my CD, I made $3,000 in one day off that thing. That was not a joke. I sold 300 copies of that CD. And, you know, I had a good business sense to not curse. My mom said, don't curse in the music. I said, okay. So I didn't curse in the music. Therefore, the school was okay with me selling it at school. I never said the N-word or didn't curse in my music. So they were just kind of like, oh, snap. He's not fighting every day. Right. So let's just let him sell his music, because I was about 120 pounds dripping wet, but I had a huge mouth. And I always wanted to back it up. I always wanted to fight somebody. So I literally have been in so many fist fights I can't even count. We just guesstimate it at like 100, because I fought every other day. Literally every other day I would find something and someone to fight about. Like, you don't even understand. So I fought all the time. I think that was mostly because I wanted attention. Yep. You know, being the youngest of 3 brothers, I saw my brothers do all sorts of things for money. They were drug dealers, you know, like, you know, quitting school. And I mean, I saw my brother quit school in 8th grade and the next day pop up with a brand new vehicle. Like, they were real drug dealers. And, you know, I was from a little country place, but people don't understand, in those little country spots, in those little towns, there are people that are very dangerous and there are people that are making a lot of money, you know. So They were a few of those people. So my influences were always entrepreneurs in a sense, but maybe just not in the legal sense. My mom, again, she was a single mother. So I watched her. We came to North Carolina when I was 3. And I watched literally us go from all being in one bed together. I have a brother that's 7 years older, so he was 10. Another one that's 16 years older. So he was like 19, right? Yeah, so he was like 19, and literally like we're all in the bed sleeping together with my mom in a room, and I saw her say, I'm going to get this trailer. She got the trailer. I saw her say, I'm going to get this apartment. We moved to the projects. Might not be something that everybody would like to do, but it was a dream for us. We wanted to get out of that trailer park. We moved to the projects. We thought it was a come up. Then she moved to another trailer park, which is a little bit better than the projects. Then I saw her move to another little house, but it was in the hood. And, you know, I saw her move to the brand new house next, which wasn't that much hood. And then the townhouse, which was nowhere near the hood. And then another house that was completely out of the hood. And like, I've seen her just rise and rise and rise. I saw her work, 96 hours per week, making $5.50 50 cents per hour way back when, before minimum wage was any higher than that. She's busting her butt, working 3 jobs a day, and 2 side jobs, 1 full-time job. And even on the weekend, she would go out and be the door girl at the club at my aunt's club. So it's like she worked 24/7. That was all she knew. And I saw that. I saw that type of determination, that grind, that diligence. I saw that money anxiety. I saw us being on the verge of being evicted almost every month. I saw her work hard to make ends meet with just herself, but yet she would send me to school with better clothes than the kids that had both parents. I saw myself get a better car. She bought me a better car than those kids that had both parents. I had all the brand new game systems just like they did, but I saw her struggle for that. I saw her be able to figure the system out and stretch her money. So I had money anxiety because I saw those different things, and I always thought money was scarce. So I always say I saw so much from my mom and learned so much from her, but there were also some bad habits that I got from her as well. And I'm just better self-aware of those things now, so I'm able to do better in certain aspects. But I love her, and she just did everything for us to be able to succeed. So I'm glad that I'm able to do so. I can't speak for everybody, but my story is definitely one worth telling. But like I said, I became a teenager, and I was like, hey, like I definitely want to be able to make money, and we were all bored. So I started a teen club, and I was making like $20,000 per month off of this teen club as a teenager. So, my mentor is like, don't go buy that brand new car. Of course, I show up the next day with the brand new car. Like, I'm spending money. I'm doing everything I want to do. And I was so very reckless. I'm playing cards in the crack house. I'm losing $7,000 in a night like it's nothing, because I know the next week I can make it back. Yep. Very, very just not literate when it comes to finances. And that's why I think it's so important what we do now, to be able to teach people that there's a heavy responsibility with money. Not that you have to be afraid and have anxiety around it, but there is a responsibility and there is a reality around it. You have to be smart with investing it, and investments come in all shapes, forms, and sizes. But, that was really my rise through entrepreneurship. And then, of course, I get tangled up in the illegal aspects again. And I ended up getting locked up. And after I got locked up, I ended up going on 106 in Park on Freestyle Friday. And that was by the grace of God, because I got out of jail about 4 days early, and they hit me up 2 days after I got out on Twitter. So had I been there the entire time, I would have missed that message. But hey, luckily, and by the grace of God, I did get out in time, and ended up going on 106 in Park. And ended up losing on 106 in Park. Well, I say that they voted against me. I'm not going to say I lost. Y'all can go look at the clip yourself. But I got voted against. And I made some very great and valuable connections with people in the music industry, the most powerful people in the music industry. And I kept those connections, still have those connections till this day. And they helped me in different things, just with business, since I'm not doing music anymore. but these are multi-millionaires, people that have created more millionaires in hip hop than anybody else, you know, who helped found Tupac, Eminem, Cash Money, like all of these people. I was able and blessed enough to be able to rub elbows with those people. I moved to California right after 106 and Park, and then I ended up coming to Charlotte. And this is where it comes full circle. I ended up coming to Charlotte to be closer to my mom because she was still in North Carolina. And literally, my brother, who's from California, he's my friend, but, you know, we met and he's like my brother now. So he ended up coming to stay with me in Charlotte. And he comes out of his job one day and he says, "Hey, man, you know this guy named Destin?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, he says he knows you from like back home. And I'm like, "From home?" Like, "Oh, snap the hood." And he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Yo, I think I know who you're talking about." He comes out and Destin's like, "Man, what are you doing in Charlotte? I love you been here." I didn't even know that Destin had been in Charlotte himself. And he was in a company called World Ventures. So he says, "Man, listen," he comes to my house like every other day for like 4 months straight, dude. He's like, "Join this company. You're so popular," just like Storm said. Side note, Storm never beat me in one-on-one. Side note, I just want to say that. She's nice. But, you know, he's like, "You're so popular. You do so well in this company." And I'm like, "Dude, I don't believe in this product." Eventually, he gets me to crack, and I say, "Listen, I'm going to do research on these types of companies, and I'm going to choose the best one for me." He's like, "All right, cool." I'm working in the mall, making a minimum wage. Just got off of 106 and Park, off the high of my life, and I'm working minimum wage at the mall. And literally, I go through and I search all those multi-level marketing companies, and I see a guy on the internet. He's making a lot of money. I corrected him because I'm a grammar Nazi and a jerk, and I corrected him because he misspelled entrepreneur. And he says to me, "Well, you're smart, but why aren't you making money with me?" As I'm going to clock into my mall job. And I'm like, dang,
yeah.
Right? Like, all right. So I'm thinking about that the whole time. And I'm in the mall working, and this kid named Noah walks in. And he's like, "Man, I know you from somewhere." And I'm like, "No, you don't. You don't know me from nowhere. Like, where I'm from, I don't want you to know me if I don't know you. Like, who you and who do I owe?" What are you talking about? So I'm like, "Nah, you don't know me from anywhere." He's like, "Oh, okay." So he walks out, comes back in. He's like, "Man, you're on 106 and Park. You're on Freestyle Friday." I was like, "Dang, yeah, I was." He was like, I knew you." And I was like, yeah. So we ended up connecting. You know, we get each other's social media, real cool kid. I ended up joining that company with the guy who said I should start making money with them. I told my friend, I said, "Hey, this company seems more aligned with me." For one, this guy's driving in a Jag. For two, he answered all the questions that I had. So I spent my last to join that company. The kid Noah was the first person to ever join under me in the company as soon as I joined. And I had just met him. So fast forward, while we're in the company, Noah decides that he is going to go and leave the company that we're with and go join Storm in another company. And that's how the connection between me and Storm ever even happened. If I had never gone on 106 and Park, if I had never been released from jail early, if I had never come back and gone to California and moved to Charlotte, if Destin had never come out of that Kohl's and told me about World Ventures to make me scratch my head to join Wake Up Now, I would have never been able to even know who Storm was. So that's how we even caught wind of one another. He gets us on the phone with one another, and she's telling me about her company. You know, she was sweating me, dog. Like, she was sweating me so bad. Bro, like, chill, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wore all these bow ties and stuff. She felt the bow ties. That's what it was. That's what got her. But anyway, so she's telling me about the company, and I'm like, "No, I'm not interested." But, like, I never heard anybody articulate the way that she did other than myself. I'm like, dang, like, I wish I was with her on a squad. Like, if I wanted to join that company, definitely be with her. Like, we could kill together. I hadn't met anybody that I felt was as effective as I was with as communicating. And so she eventually tells me about Forex trading later on. And she's like, "Hey, look, I know you had a lot of people in your company, on your team. Definitely look at this trading thing." And I'm like, "Girl, please. Look, girl, you ain't going to tell me about no money. I make money. I live uptown. I don't want to." And then she's like, "Oh, okay." So then, like, that night, I go on her page, and she makes like $1,700 in 11 minutes. So, of course, I message her, and I'm like, "Hey, big head, I remember that trading thing you was talking about. Definitely count me in. She's like, I'm gonna train you for free. Just tell people about me. I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm downloading. I went to impress her. She's like, yeah, you need a computer. I was doing all this off of just my phone, no computer. I was running my MLM, and she was like, buy a computer. And I'm like, all right, cool. So I bought a brand new HP. She's like, no, get a Mac. I took the HP back. I go buy a brand new Mac. I tell her about it. I'm like, yeah, I just dropped $1,400 on this Mac. She was like, oh, you stupid. I've been off Craigslist. You could have got a used one for like $300. I was like, oh, still trying to play it off though, right? I was like, I mean, it's nothing to me. I'm looking at my bank account like, dang, bro, I just spent $1,400. I can be expecting to see a new Mac now. So she told me the platform and the software to get, and I go to download it, and it literally starts freezing up. So I call her for help. This program took 3 hours to download. We stayed on the phone the entire 3 hours. And that's when I asked her on a date. So really, all of that just led up to Forex, and Forex led up to us being on the phone long enough for me to actually see that I liked her and wanted to take her out on a date. Is that how you would call it, baby girl?
I was just about to ask, like, Storm.
It's gonna be like way different.
I know B said he had a question before we got into that too.
No. That was gonna be the question. Like, so how did you end up with Storm, knowing that everyone's in her DMs? Like, I just know it.
Well, so I had to make a executive decision. I always say. So I gave him a chance. He was my first boyfriend. He was my first. I mean, literally the first and only guy that ever met my parents. Like, I was not feeling it. Like, I mean, and I think maybe you may think. I think a lot of people think when they see a girl that's making money, it's hard for guys, unless I had a lot of guys that had a lot of money come after me, to be honest. And then they were jerks, so you're talking to them and it's like, they can't have real conversation because they're used to impressing girls with, oh, look at me in my Ferrari, or, look at me in my Maserati. And that's the furthest that their conversation would go. And like with Air, when we met, he was so confident that actually like made me like him a lot. And then he also could teach me things. And Legends being so loud, but he would teach me things. So like when we first started talking, not many guys would ever want to even try to teach me something because they would just be so like, I think maybe put off or intimidated, and that wasn't how he was. But Air, he's significantly older than me in a way. I mean, not significantly.
I am 6 years older than her.
Yeah. Listen. When we started talking though, I was 17. So you got to look at the fact that that is true.
Don't put me in jail. That is not.
When we started talking.
No. When we started talking.
I'm saying like when we first met.
We first met.
He had a girlfriend that was 37.
Okay.
So you know what I mean? Like,
hold on. Time out. Tell my story, bro. That's not cool.
He told me his version of how he got with me.
That don't have nothing to do with nothing.
No, so the whole point is that from my point of view, when I met him, I was looking at him as like a big brother. Like, I had a lot of guys that were in their like older 20s that I turned down. So it was actually odd because many dudes hit me up and were like, so how come your boyfriend's like 26? And like, you literally told me no because of my age. And so, fast forward, Air taught me a lot. That was the coolest thing about him, and he was really patient with me. And even though I was making money and like doing really well for myself, to be honest, I was still immature and I was still a girl and I hadn't been in a relationship. So honestly, there were a lot of things that I had to my advantage as far as being like a young woman and definitely having maturity. And then there were a lot of things that I just didn't understand about relationships. I never had one. So, I was smooth. I mean, as far as what you mean, as far as a lot of DMs and all of that, I mean, if you're only going to get a certain person, a lot of people are only looking for certain things, so, that's why a lot of people got weeded out, so Air was so patient. He was, like I said, he taught me a lot. He was always like looking out for me. And I think that that was something that I just, you know, if we were watching a movie last night and it showed like, you know, a girl or depicted a girl that was a little bit younger than the guy. And it showed how like, you know, he had her drive in and like doing this different stuff. And honestly, that's how it was when I got with him. He was like, no, you do it like this. No, you haven't experienced this. No, this is what people really are doing. No, this is, you know, you need to speak up for yourself more. No. So like he really taught me the ropes of life in a lot of ways outside of, you know, I was a pretty sheltered girl, and he helped me grow into like my womanhood. So that was something that a lot of guys that didn't have the right intentions couldn't do. And that's where he succeeded. So for women out there looking for a guy that, you know, if you're choosing a man, you need to choose a man. You need to choose somebody that is willing to correct you, even though they know that you may not text them back that night. Or, you know, it's the truth. Like you want someone that's willing to basically go through all of the different phases of your life. And like I said, help you grow and mature spiritually, help you grow mentally, help you grow physically, and encourage you to do so. And also who can hold your greatness, because not all men can. And that's something that my mom always would tell me. She would be like, it's not even necessary. Many men want a pretty woman by their side. They want a girl to be a trophy, but a lot of guys can't hold a woman's greatness. And so it's funny to me when you say about like, you know, Jay-Z and Beyonce, nobody else really could hold Beyonce, I think, the way that Jay-Z does. That's what's so special about them. So I mean, I'm not saying we are them, but you know what I mean? Like, you know, I'm going off of what you said. But,
no, I love it.
You know, and that's where the choice comes into play. And I don't know why he chose me, but
I mean, you were different, and I feel that was a big thing, you know, for Storm as well. The fact of just all of the guys that were contacting her were coming at her. Listen, one guy I went to high school with, he tried to talk to Storm, and he was like, he'd like learned all of these Bible verses, and you know, Storm's a woman of faith, so he goes and he's like, hey, and this is before me and Storm ever talked. And he's like, hey, you know, I just want to get on the phone and talk to you about business. And this is what most of the guys were doing, but he went above and beyond. And like I wouldn't ever put past him, because we're from the same place. You got to go above and beyond. And this guy goes, and when he gets Storm on the phone to talk business with her, he starts quoting Bible scriptures. Like, he's like, you know, yeah. He's like, you know, in Isaiah, da-da-da-da-da. He's like saying all this stuff. And I didn't even know that she knew him and vice versa until we dated for 5 months before anybody ever knew. We never put it on social media or anything. Yep. And then one day we just put it up there. And he came under there and said, oh, you know her too? Small world. And I was like, yo, how you know this dude? I was like, I know him. Like, how do you know him? And she's like, oh my God, y'all went to school together? Yeah, so let me tell you what happened. And I was dying. And I think that that's the main thing. Like, so many dudes were coming and they were attempting to speak to her in that way and just using business as a facade and an excuse to get her interested on the phone. And since I was in a relationship when we first came across each other, I think that she was like, well, dang, this dude ain't even really like trying to talk to me at all. I was just like, oh, what's up, Storm? And she's like, oh, okay, he's really about business. Where I was like, what's up? Like, okay, cool. Like, all right, I'll call you back. So I think that was the main part. But yeah.
No, I love both your stories. Storm, your story reminds me of one of my friends, Pasha. Not similar at all, but just the sheltered life and growing up in business. And she has a book coming out, which I think is going to be amazing. I should definitely connect you with her. And then Air, your story reminds me of Charlemagne the God. I don't know if you read his book, Black. What you call that? Are you familiar with Charlemagne the God?
Yes, he's from Montclair, South Carolina. Yeah, I know.
Yes. So his book, he actually talks about, you know, living in a trailer park, doing drugs, going to jail. So similar story. So it's amazing. And then the one thing I love about his book and what you're saying too, and what I'm getting from both your stories is that just because you start somewhere, you know, you're not always going to end up, because you might not end up the way it may look of how you start. That I think that's the best way I should say. And then the decisions that you guys made allowed you and catapulted you to where you guys are now, which is amazing. And I really want to shift the conversation to now let's go into Forex. You know what I'm saying? This is like your bread and butter. This is your world. So I want to know, why should people care about Forex? Storm, let me ask Storm first. Storm, why should people care about Forex?
Why should people care? I think it goes back to what you even said. You said it before we even got going when we talked beforehand, and you said Forex is it's a portal. It's not necessarily an end point. Just no different than what you just said. When you start a business, in any business, if you're not quote unquote, the big thing that everyone's pushing is do what you're passionate about, right? And so many people, if we look at most people's lives, they're miserable. They're miserable in the way that they carry themselves. They're miserable in how they treat other people. They're miserable with their children. They're miserable with their spouse because they're upset that they're not creating. And when you start to look at yourself, actually, in how God made you, you're meant to create. So whatever is inside of you that you're passionate, quote unquote, about doing, that is the creativity. But most people haven't been able to tap into creativity because we get stuck in robotical movements in our day-to-day lives, right? So like job, school, relationship even. Everybody thinks they're supposed to do these things. I'm supposed to have a boyfriend, girlfriend. I'm supposed to have a kid by this age. I'm supposed to have a certain job. I'm supposed to be in school. I got to work. So, you do all this day to day. And by the time that you're finished with all of that, your creative brain is like, zap. You don't have any time to do maybe what you would love to do. And so what I always ask people, actually, when they're wanting to look into getting into Forex, I say, well, what would you absolutely love doing if you could do anything on earth and actually make money from it? And they'll answer. So some people are like, well, I would want to be a rapper. I would want to be a painter. I would want to be a dancer. I would want to be a philanthropist, whatever it is. And I'm like, so guess what? That's what Forex can help you do. Because why haven't you been doing it? And they're like, well, my time. I don't have any time. By the time I get off of work, I'm tired. I'm stressed, And so we'll look at what, if you were able to wake up and let's just say and trade for an hour, 2 hours tops, you get to do and choose the flow of the rest of your day. What would that day look like from being able to start working at 7 a.m. to finish by latest 10 o'clock? You have the rest of your day. That's literally how our day just went. Air got up at 5 a.m. I rolled out the bed because it was like one of my really slow days. I slept in till like 8:39, went to the gym. I didn't even work today whatsoever. This is the most work that I've done, talking to you. And it's really cool because just being real, and going live, right? So I get to post on my Instagram all day, so I did check an email, actually. I'm going through my itinerary,
that's a lot of work.
Right, it's a lot of work doing what you love, having time freedom. So, many people push time freedom. Like I said, network marketing. We all three know that that's what the push is. Time freedom. But we all know the truth behind that. And that, guess what? You don't have any time freedom because you got to do a conference call. You got to, be at the meeting. You got to train your downline. You got to make sure that you check your back office and sell a product and all of this different stuff. It's too much. So trading is something that it's just based upon you. That's what I love about it. And that's why I would say that it's something that you can't not afford to get into, even if it's just on the basic level of replacing your income. Not everybody's going to be a millionaire. That is the God honest truth. Not everybody's going to be a figure earner. That is the God honest truth. But are there people, even some people get into Forex so that they can fund their family vacations, fund just extra play money. One of my clients, he loves to party. He said, I'm just using Forex so I can have some extra drink money. And he was dead serious. And I'm like, wait, what? He's like, no, Storm, I like to drink. I spend thousands. And I'm like, what? He was like, I don't party light. He's like giving me the rundown on like his club escapades. I'm like, oh, okay. So everybody uses their money differently. And what I can say is some people love their jobs. So at the end of the day, I'm not telling anybody when they get into Forex to not work. What I'm saying is use this as extra capital. regardless of anything, who can afford not to have extra capital to buy your kids even education? It's also a skill set to pass down to your family. Many of us look around and we have loved ones that are not in great financial positions, period, point blank. If you're in a great financial position, you probably know 100 people who are not. And the biggest thing is that it's something that you can pass on. One of my newest private clients, he told me, he signed up the other day and he was like, so the reason why I'm doing this is because I'm proposing to my girlfriend and I want to be able to teach her something. He was like, she needs to have something that she can do because I want us to be able to travel and I can fund our travel, but I want her to be making money. And I see you and I'm like, my girl can do the same thing. So it's a skill set to pass along, just no different than parents pass on collections of, wine collections. They pass on fine china. They parents pass on, if they were lawyers, doctors, preachers, they pass on skill set to their children, and their children aspire to be that, just like I aspired to be an entrepreneur because of my parents. But this is something that is able to be passed on, and they can start when they're young. They can get on the computer. Air's little brother came over our house right before we moved to Panama, and he literally had him start watching our curriculum, and he's what, 9? 10. He's literally learning how to trade, and he's a little kid, you know what I mean? And he's like, oh, I see this, I see that. And that's what I thought. I was like, wow, if he pursues this, he actually will have learned a skill set that can literally make him. Most people are going to work for $300, $400 a week. I mean, not a week, every 2 weeks. I'm sorry. Yeah. That's what I meant, every 2 weeks. So he's literally learning something that he can make $50, $100 a day. He can literally do that. And he won't have to be stressed if he does decide to go to college. He doesn't have to be stressed. There are many college students that are in school and they're dead broke, but they don't know that if they started an $100 trading account and had the skill set behind it, they could actually make enough money to not go to that little rinky-dink pizza place that I was working at. So there's just a reality to the fact that it opens up a lot of doors for you, regardless of what your aims are. And somebody might aim to be a hedge fund manager. You may think to yourself, no, I want to manage money. I want to be a full-time professional Forex trader. Well, you can go for that gusto too. The doors are wide open from whatever lane you want to go to with it. It's about what you desire. And like I said, I think it opens up many freedoms for any person. So you can't afford to not do something that brings you true freedom. Like it's the truest freedom you can get.
Wow. And Air, what about you? Why should people care about Forex?
I think people should care about Forex because the banks are trading their money anyway in the same market. It's very simple.
Right.
The banks are literally, people are like, oh yeah, I get 0.0005 interest. Listen, the banks are using your money. They have literally just conditioned your mind to you imagining that, hey, if I have a big savings, that is something. And it's like, no, they want you to have a savings because you still have that money in their bank to where they can go and trade in the Forex market.
Right.
They are making money off of your money. And then they're charging you to get your money out of ATMs that don't have their brand on it. They are literally making money off of you and your money 24/7. This is the same exact market. It does not take too much to learn. It does not take too much time. It does not take too much money. These banks are doing the same thing with your money. So you might as well do it with your money.
Yeah.
It's a very dangerous thing not to act on what other people are acting on at your expense. So that's it. Just do what the banks are doing.
Amen to that. I love that it's like practical. And Storm, I love what you said about not everyone's going to be a six-figure trader. Not everyone is going to be a millionaire. And then I think this is a perfect segue to saying, what's your viewpoint and on MLM and Forex? What do you guys think about that? Is it good? Is it bad? I really want to know, because you're seeing now that like everyone learned about Forex, everybody jumped on the bandwagon, but now you're seeing it's kind of dying down, and everyone's kind of like trying to find that new place to be. but you guys have stayed true, the whole time. But for you guys, how was it when that first started? Did you jump on too? Were you in any of the companies, or what happened?
No. No. But no. I mean, do you want to? Well, I mean, I think the biggest thing was, without naming companies or any of that, like.
I'm a name.
Well, I know you are, sure, but well, no, okay. If you are naming them, then I mean, the IMLs, their owner, like he came out and he was like, "Yo, I know you're a big coach. I would want to pay you, buy you out of, he offered me $30,000 to come and actually like be an educator." And he was like, right, and I'm like, dude, you don't even understand. Like, I'm never gonna throw away my brand and my need. Like, I had worked to build and solidify myself as an equitable coach. So I was like, no way. Like, and he was just like, well, the thing is, you can't do anything else. You have to be just solely an educator through us. And for me, that was a no-go. So, I looked at the longevity of things, which I'm glad that I stayed true to myself. And I'm glad that I also had, by that point, I was with you. We were dating. And I think I like ran it by you. And even Air was like, no, like, don't do that. Don't tie your name to anything right now. Like, you're good. I mean, it's a lot better to go at your own personal pace than to tie your name with something that you don't feel comfortable with.
Yep.
So I was just like, no, like I felt like I would be able to keep scaling. I mean, by that point I was making way more even than that. So it just didn't make any sense. But my point is, as far as network marketing goes, being tied to trading, I don't think that they mix well because of what you even said, B. I think it's kind of like anything that you want to get great at, you have to focus on. And so for me, like, I love working out. And so I'm like, if I want to build a great legs, great glutes, if I want to build, like right now I'm working on my calves. I have great legs. I'm working on my calves, and I'm like every day going to do something on my calves, my abs, anything that you want to be great at, you have to put that focus on. And certain things you can do, and you can get an end result by working out everything. But certain things take a lot more focus. And I feel that Forex is something that you have to focus on solely. I don't think that you can be a recruiter and a Forex trader at the same time. I think that it really is something where if you already have another business going, especially when you just tie the two, there's too much incentive behind a compensation plan to really focus on learning. When you come in, we all know, and we were just talking about compensation plans earlier. Mm-hmm. If a compensation plan looks great and you're someone who feels like you're great at network marketing, you're not going to focus on the product as much as you are going to focus on, look at this comp plan. We can kill this to your team, right? So that's what you're going to be doing. Rather than watching a webinar, you're doing your own conference call, so that's what most people are doing, even if they did have, great education at some points or better educators. The bottom line is that it's just, I feel too much to try to tie in. I feel like it's kind of like a separate leg day, no different than, you can't focus on your total body. It's kind of like you have to work that body part separately to really get great at it. So I don't know if you feel.
I mean, my outlook on MLM is pretty simple. It's 4 words. I'm good, love. Enjoy. Like, you enjoy what you not. Seriously, MLM definitely changed my life. It shaped my life. So I think that for people just starting out, it's kind of like going to college, right? Like I told my nephew, don't rush wanting to know what your major is right now. You just got in college like yesterday. There are people that are juniors that are just figuring out their major. So I think that when people know that they want to be entrepreneurs, that's cool. But many people don't know what type of company they want to start. They don't know what sector they want to be in. And that's why I picked up with business coaching now. Well, with business, life, success coaching, all of that different coaching. I've been doing that because people are so confused. They know they want to make money, but they don't know what the first step is to be able to create money the way that they want to.
Right.
And that's a lot. It's important to me to where I'm like, listen, yes, Forex is a stepping stone for you to be able to do whatever you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens when it's time for you to do whatever you need to do and you still don't know what it is? So just like college, I say to people that know that they want to be an entrepreneur, you might know that you want to be in college, but you might not know your major yet.
Right.
MLM might be a good way to start off for you. It might be a good way for you to be able to acquire the skills, for you to be able to be a good oral communicator, for you to be able to get good organizational skills, teamwork skills, self-development, for you to be able to learn and teach at the same time. All of these different things, like it has a lot that you can use and that is good for you.
Yes.
But
Yeah,
like maybe
I love it.
That's your doorway to entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
But do not, if you're in a multi-level marketing company, call yourself a business owner, because you are not a business owner. You did not buy a franchise from McDonald's and you open that McDonald's up yourself and you're giving a percent. No, you are a glorified sales associate. That's what you are. We're just going to keep it real with you. Because if you live your life, that's fantastic. That's cool. But you are a glorified sales associate. You have on the yellow vest in Walmart and everybody else has on the blue. That's great. That's for you, though.
Yeah.
All right. So what I learned in multi-level marketing was, just like Storm said earlier, when you do the time and you do the numbers, you're not really having freedom. Yeah. I would speak until my freaking throat was bleeding every day. Mm-hmm. Like, that's not freedom. People are shoveling a whole bunch of crap. Like, it is what it is. You are not a business owner. Call yourself what you are. Live in that. Live in your reality. Live your life, bro. But don't do nothing extra where you're out here downing people that have 9-to-5s, because a lot of those people with 9-to-5s make more money than you per hour when you do the math, because they didn't have to work for 12 or 13 hours today.
Yeah.
And they didn't go off of a maybe I'm going to get paid. Mm-hmm. They have that safety net. And I mean, hey, I don't like it when people are complacent and want to stay in the rat race, but that's them. Mm-hmm. I can't speak down on somebody else's choice. I can tell you what I think about it, but I can't speak down on it. That's for you. That is your prerogative. You chose to be there. Go ahead and flip that burger, my friend, because somebody got to. I got to eat it. Somebody got to flip that thing. So, hey, multi-level marketing, I don't feel that Forex and multi-level marketing should be in the same bed. I don't feel that. Just like Storm said, I feel that people take their eye off of the prize and they start doing more of the recruiting thing instead of the learning Forex thing.
Yeah.
And that's a waste of time, because that skill is definitely way more important than any type of compensation plan. We're talking about a compensation plan that you're going to get paid off of based off of you. We can go to the private island right now in Portobello, get a Wi-Fi router, and guess what? We can make money. We don't have to talk to a soul.
You can disappear.
You don't have to talk to one soul. So that's the message. And I went live about it, and I went in on multi-level marketing people where I was like, listen, do what you do, but do what you do. Just like Kobe Bryant said in that interview, do what you do. You can go out there and drink and do all your things, but at 5 o'clock in the morning, you better wake up because we got a game the next day. Do what you do, but make sure that you do what you do. So be a multi-level marketer, but don't be out here pretending that you don't work for somebody. Because I guarantee you, I can search the CEO of your company, and that's who you work for.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean,
Storm, you gonna say you wanted to add?
No, I mean, I'm the butter to this bread. Like, I'm the sauce. Soften it, make it sweet for Aaron's gonna. I mean, he's saying all truths though, like 100%. I mean, I agree. It's sad. Sad reality.
Very sad.
Hey, I'm gonna say, as the interviewer, I'm not gonna pick sides, but I think you guys already know where I'm at, because we talked about this beforehand. But I'm definitely gonna say, I like the way you put it. How do what you do, but do it. Because I can see both sides. I can see where a lot of people are recruiting heavily, but they're not really Forex traders, and I can see that once this dies down, like, what's going to be the next company, or what's the next thing that's going to pick up?
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. And it's kind of
come right back to.
Say that again, Storm. I didn't hear you too clearly.
No. I just said, what sticks around always is everyone's going to go back to some sort of health and wellness product or something. So it's going to be, those are the companies that last. If you look, we always laugh and we're like, look at what is Bima? Well, no, Bima got shut down, but
Herbalife.
Herbalife. Herbalife stays around, but also what's the Amway?
Amway is the granddad.
Like Amway's the granddad.
Yeah. I'm gonna say this though, for all of you that are in Amway, y'all are brainwashed, bro. Listen,
yeah, it's like robots.
I know so many people in Amway, just like Storm just said, robots. I am sure that you are synthetic people. Like, it doesn't even make any sense.
We had bets in Charlotte. It was so funny when we lived there. We lived uptown, and so we would always be like, I bet you if I go to Target uptown, somebody's gonna recruit me into Amway. And I kid you not, they all had the same pitch. They see you in line, and what do you know? They slide over. I like that blouse.
That blouse is nice.
So how old are you? And then it's like, I'm like, are they in Amway? And immediately, you're getting recruited right before, you don't even realize it. It's just happening. And they're like, yeah, so, I have a group of a group of entrepreneurs.
I'm going to meet with a group of entrepreneurs, my business partners.
Yeah, my business partners.
And I'm like, those not your business partners. You don't own Amway. And what's funny is, and I got recruited into Amway when I was 18, but I didn't join. And they saw that my following on Facebook was huge, so they invited me out to one of their exclusive events. So this one girl approaches Storm in the store, and she's like, I love that blouse. I was gonna wear that same one for this Halloween outfit. Where'd you get it? And we're talking to her, and then eventually she says that she was gonna go meet with a group of entrepreneurs. And Storm was like, so you Amway, huh? And then she was like, how did you know? And I was like, the LTD team. And she was like, oh my God, because y'all have the same script. We literally were like, oh, you know your upline.
No, exactly who your upline
We know your upline. We just met them in Trader Joe's 6 months ago. And they said that we should join and that we didn't know what we were passing up on. But we've been following them on Facebook. And they might want to put in the application over here. I'm just saying. No, let's keep it real. They out here taking out No. They out here taking $500 out in tens, flashing it like a fan, like they Mulan or something, in front of their face, talk about, oh, we own our own marketing company. No, you work for Amway, you're selling fish oil pills, and you haven't made any money. That's what's happening. That lotion does not work, bruh. I done used the lotion. It don't work.
I love how Storm is real chill. Storm is oh, this is this but then Air comes and just brings you that masculine side, and I love it. I love the 1-2 combo that you guys have, because I'm loving this right now. I'm really loving it. I think everyone that's listening is loving it right now because they're not only entertained, but they're learning. But let's dive deeper into Forex. So how does someone get started into Forex? If you guys want to, 1-2 combo this, take us through, what should somebody do? Step one, give us a whole step, maybe 7, 10, whatever it is. But actually, give us 3 steps. In 3 steps, what should somebody do? What is step 1 in Forex to get started?
I would say 1, open your computer or turn your phone on.
Yeah.
2, visit generationblack.com.
Oh my God.
3, make the purchase for the gold membership.
Okay.
I love that.
Aaron is extremely biased here.
That
is our website, so everybody knows. But okay.
No, that's dope. That's dope.
I would say if you were not looking, because I actually just went live on this. But I would say if you are not knowing exactly what Forex is, it's first actually getting aware of what it is, because many people say no to things that they don't know about. So they don't want to buy training for something that they don't even understand. You got to understand the difference between stocks and Forex. You got to understand, well, yeah, we do, but even more in depth. Some people really want to understand what currency exchange trading is. So even before I ever purchased anything, I knew everything about what it was, the difference between stocks and Forex, how you made your money from it, etc. So I would say find, you can visit our website, of course, and actually look that up on the site, but also that's your first step. finding out exactly what it is and what is required of you, because you may not want to do what is required of you to really learn it. Number two, I would say, once you decide if you are ready to advance and actually start learning, it is finding mentorship. Being biased to us, I would say, yes, join generationblack.com for sure.
Being unbiased to us, join generationblack.com.
No, being unbiased, I would say that you do have to look around. You may not be ready to even invest, so there are free platforms. We actually have a free Facebook group if you're listening. It has 800 members deep. You're able to join it, and it's called Forex Made Simple. And here's the thing: you're able to see lifestyle, but you're also able to see the practicalities of what we do on a day-to-day basis. Psychological tips that we have, mentality tips, different things that we've experienced, for the newbie trader to come in and actually see and get a taste, even from other traders. It's a community. So, I would say that, finding some sort of course, mentorship, us, of course, but there are many great coaches, and I just will say that. So on top of that, I will also say number 3 is deciding to commit 100%. And when you do realize that Forex has a lifestyle element around it, it is not just, I get on my computer, because to stay sane, you darn better be ready to do a lot more than just learn how to chart. To stay sane trading is one of the most emotional roller coasters you can experience. If anybody has experienced gambling at all, usually people that like to gamble like to trade. So, if you've been to the casino, if you've ever lost money, made money very quick, this is definitely a high probability form of gambling. So you have to know that you need to train your brain to be able to handle and withstand and actually keep consistent with this. That deals with, that's what we teach. That's why we are great. We teach you how to handle your mental. We teach you how to handle just the practical things, how to eat better, eat to live, eat to think, so that you can trade at a high level and make a lot of money. People ask me that all the time, like, do you eat healthy a lot because you just, for trading? And I'm like, heck yeah, because I want to make money. So I would much rather pass up, waking up and eating a Danish so that I can wake up and drink a smoothie so I can actually think well. I drink water and I don't drink soda, juice, nothing, because I want to be able to function at the highest level that my body and my brain can. And I'm still not doing so. But the point is, that's what you need to do. And if you are ready to do that, then you're ready to create, a life from trading. So I just would say that there are, the steps go deeper than just going to sign up, because many people sign up and spend their money on programs, and it can be the best program ever. But if you're not ready to actually take that knowledge and apply it, Aaron bought ET's program. He was like, knowledge applied is what really sets you apart. And it's the truth. You have to be able to actually apply things. You can read 20,000 books, but if you don't apply any of that to your life, guess what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you buy the greatest Forex program. I've had many people buy our program and not do anything with it. So my advice is actually know that you are ready to make that commitment. And if you're not, don't waste your money or your time.
Can I just say these couple things? I drink.
Yep.
I know you do.
And I think it's a way bigger emotional roller coaster to be a Dallas Cowboys fan.
Oh my God.
Also,
that is very true, though. I'm gonna have to keep it real.
Yeah, they be happy, boy, and then they be sad.
Yeah, unless they bet money, sad. Though. Unless
they be sad.
Your own money is a lot different.
No. Dallas Cowboy fans would much rather be broke with the Super Bowl.
Oh my goodness.
You ask any Dallas Cowboy fan, they will tell you, if we win the Super Bowl, I will lose my job. I will give my job up and my lifestyle for the Cowboys to win the Super Bowl. And if they don't say that, they're not a real Cowboy fan. I'm not one, but they are crazy. Another thing I will say, because I want to ask this question. This is my inner B right here, turning into the interviewer. Storm, would you say that all the coaches out there, all the programs, would you say that would you suggest any other program or coach? Because you said there were a lot of great coaches out there.
Good, go.
I was just saying, this is going to be my inner B right here. And I just want to ask you, because you said that there were a lot of great coaches out there. I think there are like maybe 2. There's some ones. Like it's some Harrison Barnes out there, bro. They're not like stars. They're like And so you would say, and you would tell somebody else to go and choose another Forex program?
So what I would say is that I've referred I referred people to other people for different things.
Mhm.
If someone has come to me and they've said, hey, I really want to learn XYZ style of trading.
But
then,
the question was to start trading.
Oh,
not
just to
learn.
begin?
Mhm.
Oh, I mean, no, I think that we're the best, or keep it real. But I, like I said, I just think that there also are other alternatives. I think that some people, for instance, we don't host things in person right now.
Mhm.
So some people really want to go do something in person. Therefore, now here's the thing. Air taught me to be very unbiased. When he got with me, he would be like, you don't think, you think so practically, you think inside the box. So just being fair, I'm just being fair. I just say that you can find different things about other people more attractive sometimes. Somebody may want to learn from a specific person, a specific, those are different realities. So I'm just saying that I think that there are other people that are doing some great things. I give credit where credit is due. I know a lot of people that have become coaches and they are doing fantastic and they do articulate well. They do have good curriculum. Do I think that we have all of the different things gathered in one? Yes. So that makes us probably the best. But, I think that also I think I'm in a fair space of my life. I just like to give other people credit.
Storm want to be humble. Our clients killing everybody's clients. Our course is killing everybody's course. It is what it is. I ain't seen one coach that here. It is what it is. We ain't gonna stay
B
on that.
feels me though.
We're not gonna stay on that. No, B wants you to be confident when not say
I am confident.
and not say probably the best. You can't be probably the best. The best.
Well, have you talked to every Forex coach
Have you heard DJ Khaled? I said I haven't seen it. It is a hateful generalization.
Yes.
Go ahead, B.
I'm gonna say, you know what? I'm gonna say both of you guys are right. I'll say the confidence piece, yes, of course. Probably. I understand the humble piece, you know what I'm saying, from Storm. And I do understand Air, you just being straightforward and saying, hey, yeah, we are the best, come learn from us. Because one, at the end of the day, you are a business. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be like that. So I think there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? Like, I always think like, hey, I'm the best guy when it comes to weight loss. I'm like, yeah, come to me. Don't go anywhere else because they're not going to treat you how I'm going to treat you. So
exactly.
I feel that. Yeah,
of course. Of course.
Nobody's going to treat you how we'll treat you. I can say that.
And nobody prays in the beginning of their webinars. We pray in the beginning of ours. Their research on that. They're not out there praying. They don't know God like we do. Listen. Right. I'm just saying it's a fact. But I will say this. DJ Khaled, it does not say, we probably the best.
Okay. That was, you know what? That was a great analogy. That was a great analogy. Oh man, that was such a great analogy. So we've literally covered your story. We've literally covered like how you got started. We've covered like how other people can get started. Not only getting your course, but doing the prep work before landing into Forex. Now I really want to talk about people. Some people listening right now are probably already into Forex, right? And they haven't been seeing the returns that they want to see, right? Or maybe they've blown their account, you know what I mean? Or maybe they think it's a scam. How do you help people to change their mindset and to refocus back and to get excited again about Forex? What would you tell them?
I think that you said the main word. You said their mindset.
Yeah.
And that's what we focus on more so than anybody else. That's why I feel that we are the best. Because a lot of these coaches tell you exactly how to win or what to expect when you do win. And they tell you how to make money. But in my experience, with kickboxing and stuff, my coach didn't just tell me, hey, whenever you hit the guy, he's going to fall over like this. My coach was like, when you get punched in the mouth, this is what you better do.
Right.
So guess what? It's going to happen. You're going to lose. We are teaching you how to stop that bleeding. We're teaching you how to lose and be able to lose and still live. Because you can trade 10 times and lose 9 and still win money. But they're not teaching how to do that because their losses are so big that it just bleeds out. They're not teaching how to make sure that you grow those wins. They're not teaching you how to fight. They're teaching you how to attack. We are teaching you the whole mindset. Instead of you going in a fight and your heart beating, my first 50 fights, my heart was beating crazy.
After I met my best friend back then, he taught me how to not be so angry in fights. Then I really went crazy. So at the end of the day, you have to be able to go in there with a clear mind, a level mindset, and a clear head to know, well, I know I'm going to get hit, but I can take it. And I already know what I'm going to do if I do get hit. And when I do get hit, we focus on that mindset. So I think that's the biggest part. It's not a scam. The strategies you learn isn't trash. Maybe your mindset isn't where it needs to be, Allen Iverson. Maybe you need to stop looking at practice a certain way and turn into Kobe and get that Black Mamba mentality. That's what we teach them, how to teach it, how to be a Black Mamba, not a me.
The analogy game is on point. I just want to say, whoever taught you that, those analogies are like on point, firing. So, Storm, I want to shift to you, and I really want to ask, because you see success at a young age, and you've made money that other people probably won't ever touch in their lifetime. Just to be honest, how does somebody break that money mindset barrier, so that way they can start seeing the growth, they can start seeing the returns they want to see in Forex, or even just in life in general. You know what I'm saying? I know money is a big issue, especially in the Black community, but in general too. But how do you break that mindset to go and be like, okay, I'm gonna make this much. I am gonna do this. Like, what's a simple step someone can follow?
Oh wow. Well, no, yeah, you're so right about like just exactly what you said. Like every day, I think it honestly has created a lot of pressure that I made inside of my mind after. I made so much money, you kind of are like, I'm 22 right now. So I'm like, oh my God, every birthday I'm like, I have to be a millionaire by 24. Like, Yep. And on one hand, I used to be like, oh gosh, I wish I would have started a little slower because, like even my friends, they're like, what'd you say, struggling college students. And then, I'm riding around and I have 2 BMWs and they're like, what the crap, like I live uptown, so like my lifestyle actually started to at one point feel like a downside where I was like, I feel so different than everybody. Like, I don't feel like I should have done this slower. You know what I mean? And now it feels like I got to go faster because I'm already here. And what else do I do now? Or do I just sit and relish in this? So, I think that I just wanted to give people that thought process as well, because everybody will see it sometimes and they're like, oh my God, so lucky. But like, it's like, you don't know what that person also deals with on the inside of maybe feeling, like I said, like you are pressured to like go really fast now, where I'm like, well, I gotta be like freaking going crazy by 30, like people are going to expect to see some crazy stuff. And what I really realized was that no, it has nothing to do with that. When you want to make money, money is a tool, and money is something that, like I said, I think even having a child, it slowed me down and it made me really relish in life. And it gave me gratitude for simplicity. And money can buy you things. It cannot buy you happiness. People say it all the time, and it's so true. I think that if you want to make money and you are young, or even if you're, you're 30, 40, yeah, Air's age, if you're, but if you are 30, 40, whatever, what I can say is this, it is mindset again. It goes back to what I realized was that I was literally 16, 17, walking around my house. I didn't listen to music. I was an extremist. Now I really see why people were like, this girl has no fun. Because like literally I would be walking around with earbuds in and all I listened to was Zig Ziglar, Bob Proctor. I listened to so many. I was making deposits spiritually, even in the universe. I was literally putting out there. I became an avid meditator. I literally was focusing on abundance. I did an abundance meditation by Bob Proctor every single morning. It was a 30-minute abundance meditation. And, we really sleep on that aspect of attracting wealth. You do have to do the practical things, but actually I'm a firm believer in letting out and setting out to the universe exactly what you want to feel, and exactly like depicting and seeing in your head through your vision, you create what you want. And I know for a fact that it's the truth, because I know anyone listening to this can probably relate. And I don't know if you, B or Air, you guys can relate, but have you ever been thinking about somebody so much that person hits you up and you're like, now I know out of nowhere, that's the universe. That's not, we actually, if you do research on it scientifically, we send out waves to other people and they receive them. So what we put out, we do get, and what you focus on, you get. So people that sit around and they focus on, oh my God, I can't stop drinking. I can't stop doing XYZ. I can't stop smoking. I can't stop. If you focus on what you can't do, well, guess what? You're going to keep doing it because you're sitting and you're stuck in a pattern of doing the same thing. If you're focused on food so much that you can't stop eating unhealthy things, or you're focused on, many people sit around and envision how they're going to spend their weekend, eating bad food or eating the next morning, one meal after another. They're focused on what can they get next. And your focus really does end up being what you end up getting. So I learned that young, and that's something that I did not see any of my friends, any of my siblings. Nobody was doing that. I sat around literally chasing the mindset of what wealthy people were doing. None of my friends were listening to hour-and-a-half long Bob Proctor speeches. They were like, what? I'm trying to play it for them. Like, check this out, but I was on my MLM wave. Of course, I'm like, listen, but it's not just reading. It is actually laying and envisioning and feeling. You put that out there and you imagine, when I'm having a really bad day, now I lay down and I literally evoke the feelings of goodness. I evoke the feelings of love, feelings of gratitude, feelings of whatever I want to feel, those good feelings, and I release any of the negative ones. And that's something that I feel helps you attract money. So if you want to make money, lay down and envision yourself with, even if you listen to that Bob Proctor, anyone can Google it or YouTube it. That's one of the best meditations for a new meditator. Don't let it intimidate you. It's guided. He literally tells you what to listen to. What to think about or envision. And it literally starts to open up brain pathways. I've made so much money after listening to meditations, like nobody could even understand the severity of what I feel that type of practice will bring into your life. Like, you will really start to manifest. And that's something that manifestation is not anything you can really do, but it is about you actually taking that time to meditate. So that's one step I would say. The next is, of course, acting upon it. So, becoming the person that you need to be, the person that you see in those visions, because that's what he's going to tell you to do. Envision who you are. What do you look like? What are you wearing? I always tell Air, it's so funny because even as a girl, I envisioned myself living in an uptown apartment. I wanted BMWs. I got them. I wanted the place. I got them. And then I envisioned myself living out of the country at a beach. And guess what? That's where I live now. And I didn't even realize it until recently that I was doing those meditations. It always happens. Yeah, it always happens years later. And you look back and you're like, wait, this was what I was envisioning. I actually envisioned how I look similar now. I always said I wanted a tattoo. I wanted XYZ to take place. And of course, these are practical things, but you become more of what you do sit and envision about yourself. Who are your friends? Who is your spouse? What does your spouse do for you? These are the types of things. How do you feel when you're doing your clients? How do you talk? How do you show up? Where do you live? What do you drive? So you have to take that time to do those things. And then you have to figure out what you need to do to start becoming it. So, you got to work with the universe. You got to get on track with it and start doing those practical things. If you see yourself with a six-pack, you can't lay down and envision it. You got to get in that gym. You got to stop eating the things you eat. So those are the things that go with it. That would be the number 2. And the number 3, I would say, would be to, if you want to make the money, because this is geared towards the business, the making of the money comes from all of those 2 practical steps. But the third one is really giving yourself time to do so, meaning you have to carve out space to produce money. Many people have so many skills that they don't capitalize on. I know so many gold mines, right? And I'm like, you're so talented. Why aren't you just starting? Just start. That was the one thing that I really had down when I first started coaching Forex. I started a little rinky-dink Facebook group. And it grew over and over and over. And I didn't have the content up. I was literally selling, and that's one of Air's best qualities. He literally starts stuff. he'll have an idea and he'll be like, you know what? Create a PayPal link. And I'm like, what? Like, create a PayPal link? Like, what are you talking about? Like, you have to be willing to start. It does not have to be perfect. Whatever you envision yourself doing, if you're a trainer, if you are a coach, if you are a rapper, if you're anything, get in the studio, just record, start, do the video, do whatever. Because if not, all you'll do is sit on ideas and you won't ever get a chance. Like I was telling you beforehand, we've revised our site so many times, and more as I hear from experts, they're like, oh, you just got to keep changing stuff, but you got to start it. You can't wait until the site looks perfect and then decide that you're going to put it out there. No, get the customers flowing in, hear feedback from people, so those are the things that I think, like I told you, even when I look back and I'm like, oh, I wasn't the best entrepreneur, but really you don't have to be the best. You just got to actually like start and you grow. And like I said, who knows where I will be by 30, I'm giving myself the chance to actually be on the path towards that. So, it's about going. And I think that those three things really are that. Envision, take your time, meditate, actually learn about yourself, what you really want to be. And then of course, start acting towards it. And then again, start selling. You got to learn to sell. If you don't know how to sell and you're scared to sell and you think people won't buy from you, then guess what? They won't buy from you. You don't have anything for them to buy. So you have to learn how to do that. And that's how you produce money. You get better at talking. I'm not the best at, video, all of that. I'm getting better at it. But you got to start somewhere. So that would be, I don't know if that answers your question. I hope it does. But
no, it definitely does. It definitely does.
Yes.
So, Air, I gotta go to you now. We touched on money, and the reason why I'm asking you all this is because One Choice, One Habit is kind of like the brand that we kind of promote, my company. But we always touch on mind, body, soul, and money, and I say that's the 4 dimensions of us people. And we just touched on money. Now let's go into soul. Air, give us the background about your name, because this will go great into the soul aspect of people. Excuse me. So how does like the soul aspect jive or combine with your business side? That's what I really want to ask.
Yeah, for sure. So as we all know, how you do one thing is how you do everything. And
yep.
One thing is definitely going to run it over into the next thing, whether it be business, life, what have you. But, as far as my name change, for example, from Elijah Bryant III to Eric Keita, a lot of people were like, what is even happening? But when you just I look at things like this, and maybe people don't want to take it this deep. And I usually find that when people don't want to take it to a certain level, it's just because they know that, the truth is a painful thing. And I look at Bryant is literally a slave name. That is what, whenever my ancestors were brought over to the United States of America, I don't even know if they were sold off to Bryant's initially, because we were treated like dogs. We were treated like, animals to the people that we were enslaved by. And when you look at that, literally the Thomases could have bought us. The Jameses, the Jenkins, the Williams, the Washingtons, they could have purchased my family. And then literally in the middle of the night, just because somebody lost a poker game, my great-great-great-grandmother or my, whoever in my ancestry could have been sold and become a Bryant the next day. Would have been sporting a new brand like they were a cow the next day.
Yep.
The last name that is given to African Americans, knowing that just derives from whoever your slave master family was, that is tied to things that you will never be able to imagine. How people are always saying like, oh, okay, yeah, you'll never, my grandmother used to always say, careful what you say about slavery. You didn't live through it. Nobody, you cannot even start to begin to tell that story because you weren't there. Guess what? I wasn't, but I have ties to it regardless. If I'm walking around calling myself and calling my next generation
Bryants whenever that is tied to rape, that is tied to lynching, that is tied to slavery, that is tied to belittlement, that is tied to all of these different things that are inhumane. I am literally walking around saying, I'm going to rep the same gang that did these things to my people. I am going to rep and stand proudly and make a legacy for the Bryants. No, I'm not going to make a legacy for somebody who purchased my people and put them through hell. I'm not doing that. I'm going to make a legacy for who I truly am. Thus, I started doing research on my ancestry. And what I've come to find out is a lot of people know him as Mansa Musa, but Mansa just means king. That's not his first name. Mansa Musa, the richest man to ever have lived, he literally owned 50% of the world's salt and 50% of the world's gold. The king of the Mali Empire, right after Sundiata Keita. You have to look at this man would walk somewhere and literally the price of gold would fall and plummet and crash because he was there, because he had tens of thousands of men in carriages and camels that were toting so much gold that your little country couldn't even see it. That's the type of power and wealth that this man had. A man that walked through and literally gave out gold like Oprah gives out flat screen TVs to people. Here, you get gold, you get gold, you get gold. He was doing it like that, literally. Here, you take gold, you take gold, you take gold. And when he completed his Hajj to Mecca, he got word that his generosity, his philanthropy, him giving out gold to so many different people had literally crashed economies. It had literally turned economies upside down because the people that were poor were now richer than some of the rich people. It was crazy that the people that were middle class were now, way richer than some of the rich people. All of this stuff was just thrown askew because he was giving away so much gold to random people in the streets. Their economies were failing based off of his generosity. Imagine that. I gave you so much that your country is now failing. That y'all going crazy. Y'all don't even know what to do. Everybody's rich. Come on, it's crazy, man. They don't even know. They say 400 billion, but really they can't even calculate the wealth that this man had. That's power. That's power beyond just wealth. That's power to be a philanthropist in that way, because there wasn't greed tied to that wealth. There was philanthropy. There was, here, you take, it's nothing to me. What do you mean? This man went back the same way, back from his Hajj. And he said, you know what? I'm going to make it right. He said, who are all your creditors? Let me point them to me. All right, listen, charge me double, triple your interest. Let me borrow some gold and I'm going to pay it back right here on the spot, triple your interest, just to make your economy shake out well again, to make sure that the creditors are above everybody else again, to make sure that the lawyers and doctors, here, let me pay you for your services, triple and quadruple more. Let me make it to where your economy is set back to the regular way. So he had enough money to give you to mess your country up. Then he came back and fixed it. What are you talking about? That is who I come from. That is what runs through my blood. That's what runs through my son's blood. And you think that I'm going to walk around calling myself a Bryant when that is what we derive from? No. So just like I was telling you before the interview, I would get on the treadmill and literally I told my wife, I said, look, I was about to get off. And then I reminded myself that I was a Keita. Mansa Musa Keita, not Mansa Musa, Musa Keita the first. Father of Megan Keita. I am from him. And I stayed on the treadmill because of that. I felt he was watching me. I was like, bro, I'm sorry. I was going to get off. My bad. And those little things, how people are reading personal development books, how people are doing meditations and all these different things, I think there's a missing link. I think that what you're calling yourself every day has meaning. We named our son Legend, legendary. His middle name is Airy. His first name is Legend. This man is legendary. All throughout his life, people are going to say, wait, your real name is Legendary? He going to be like, yeah. And he's going to start to live in that. He's going to be reminded that that's what we thought of him before he ever came. That's what we saw in the ultrasound videos. Dude, you're legendary. He's going to remember that. You name your son Trash and see how that turns out. So Elijah was my first name, and I was named after my dad. My dad has decided he doesn't want anything to do with me. So why would I want something to do with him? That doesn't resonate with me anymore. I was proud, and Storm can tell you, I said, "Ooh, let's name our son Elijah Bryant the fourth." And she was like, "I don't really like that like that." And thank God she did. Because soon after, my dad literally told me, if I die today, I don't want you at my funeral. Funny, because I'm going to be the one paying for it. Nobody else can. But I won't come. I won't come, though. That'll just be, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, I am now heir because we are all heirs to the throne of God. So if you look at the word heir, H-E-I-R, I just took away the H because I still wanted my E name. So I literally just created heir off the top of my head, and Heir Keita was born. And then I searched it on Instagram and nobody had it. And I was like, "Oh, we good. Nobody used my name. What are you talking about? Instagram ain't got it. Ain't nobody got it." So that is why I changed my name to Heir Keita. And I'm much more proud whenever I introduce myself to people. I'm much more proud to carry a legacy that I can hold my head high about, instead of my father and slave masters. I am now myself and my true ancestry. And that's it.
I love that. I love that because, like, literally, you are really building that legacy for yourself, and your son can see that. And I want to say, like, I was watching a movie today. I think it's like Friedman Jones, but you're truly one of the guys whose name was Moses, and he dies. But at his funeral, they say that he always wanted to be a free man. And I think right now you kind of when you said all that, that gives me that impression of, like, you're truly free. Like, when you changed your name, that was when you were like, you know what, I'm breaking free from all this, and I'm setting my own path. And I can see that, and I can feel that from what you just said. So I appreciate that. And I'm gonna go actually even deeper. Is how does the soul aspect of your life, God, emotion, sex, relationships, that soul aspect of us, how does that go into you in driving your business and your life as well?
It goes into everything. I think that's where it starts. I think that God, your soul, your spirituality is where it starts. I think Storm can attest to whenever we first started dating. And that's another shocker as to why she gave me a chance, because we literally were debating about God. And I was like, "Oh, you really believe?" And that's crazy. Because I'm a debater. I was a debater in high school. I can debate both sides of anything. And I was like, "Oh, well, I know you have a lot of proof of God, but let me show you. I can show you a lot of proof against that." And Storm was one of the only people that literally, she said, "Well, look, I'm going to tell you like this. I'm not going to sit here and debate with you because I know you're a debater. But whenever you feel Jesus, you won't be able to deny him. Maybe you haven't been in a place yet to where you need him, but when you need him, you're going to know." And I was like, "Okay, well." So she dropped it there. She dropped it there. And I was like, "Oh, all right." I've cut so many heads off, so many Christians that were just like, I was like a freaking Christian slayer. I was like, "Dude, like, let me tell you about your religion." And so many of them were like, "Yeah, you're right." Like, they would try to debate me and then they would have nothing to say. She just dropped it at, "Listen, you can be as practical as you want, as logical as you want, as factual as you want about whatever you know. But I'm telling you what I know. I'm telling you what I felt." So I started changing, being around her, being able to see someone that I could look up to as a real Christian, in my own words back then. Now I say, "Hey, everybody got their faults. I can't say who's real and who's not. I can't judge nobody." But back then, I was like, listen, I never had seen anybody who was true to what they were saying as far as their spirituality. And she was. So I was able to be around somebody that I could actually respect in that sense. And that opened the floodgates for me. And I start going to church and I'm chilling, and she was at the same church, but she would be upstairs teaching middle school groups. So I'm down there like with her family, chilling. I'm clapping, I'm crying. I felt it. I felt it. And right now, if I pray right now, I'll feel him. He will come on to me. I will feel him. So that's what I tell people all the time. I'm like, "Look, I'm not even about to debate you, bro. I'm going to go ahead and let you just go your way.
You're going to see one day. If you ever need answers, come to me. But somebody asked me the question, and they asked Storm as well in the interview. They said, well, it was separate interviews, but they asked both of us the question. They said, what would you do if you were stranded on an island? What are the 3 things that you would bring? And one of those things I said was a Holy Bible, because me reading that, I have found so much in it to where I've been like, oh, wait, I handled that situation wrong. Oh, wait, if I would have followed this mantra in this day, in this year, I would have stayed out of this. I would have stayed away from this friend. I would have stayed away from this business. I would have stayed out of jail. Maybe I wasn't able, and maybe it wasn't meant for me to understand all of those things back then, because all of my losses led up to my wins of me meeting a wife. But knowing now, reading the Bible, and being able to have the word, and being able to have my soul and my spirit and my spirituality, all S words, by the way, having all those S words aligned is something that's powerful. That's your foundation. So people always want to talk about how pretty a house is. If that foundation is not there and set the right way, that house ain't gonna be pretty too much longer. Let the big bad wolf come by. Watch what happens. So in life, you have these big bad wolves, and you have this wind, and you have these currents that are always trying to just throw you off. You better have that foundation correct. Every single thing that we do in business, we say, hey, we're going to honor that. Hey, we're going to be and have integrity in this because we're believers. Hey, we're going to treat people with respect because we're believers. Hey, we should be able to forgive if somebody is late on an interview and they want to reschedule. We want to forgive because we want to be forgiven. A lot of these same mantras help us to continue to have relationships, build new relationships, keep bridges that we use later on. And we say, oh man, what if I just would have cut them off because I wasn't a believer and I didn't have certain mantras? What if I didn't have the golden rule and I wasn't treating others and doing unto others as, come on. At the end of the day, these things are our origin. We can't do anything without. It is not this is tied to. It's not tied to. It's because of. It's because of God we have everything. It's because of God we are successful in business. It's because of God we have the relationships and connections and networks that we do. It's not it all ties in and works together. No, it don't work together. He works, and then the rest of it falls in place because he said so. That's it. So I would say that it is the most quintessential part. I would say that there is nothing above your spirituality, your soul, and just being able to make sure that that origin, that foundation is strong. If it is not, you are not going to be integral. You are not going to be trustworthy. You are not going to treat people the way that you're supposed to. You are going to be trash. You on your own is trash. You're going to be weak. You are going to dive into habits and stay into habits and keep reversing and relapsing into habits because you're on your own strength. I had a battle, and a lot of people had way far bigger battles than I had, but I had a battle with marijuana that was crazy. That thing was beating my tail. I didn't think it was a problem. I was like, Wiz smoke, Snoop smoke. What you mean? I'm just smoking and chilling. I was being idle. We know an idle hand, an idle mind is the devil's playground. I was being idle and I was doing other things, getting caught with guns, getting caught with drugs, getting caught with drug money because I want to smoke. But if I follow the pure word and I just keep my heart pure, then I wouldn't be in those situations. So that's the whole thing for me. Just following those mantras definitely are the reason why we are where we are. It's nothing about us. It's nothing about our strength. We're not special whatsoever. Our God is, though. Because if it was about just our strength, please, we wouldn't be anywhere. I'm not strong enough to do nothing. I can't even lift 5-pound dumbbell without the right mindset from Jesus. I'm like, yeah, bro, let's get it together. So,
Okay. That's what I'm talking about. No, I love it. And I love how, earlier you guys touched on body and how important it is, not only for, like your life-wise, but also with trading. And then you guys touched on mindset. I know we've literally killed the mindset piece. But we've already killed that mindset piece, so I don't want to touch back on that. And if they miss it, they better rewind it and go back to the mindset piece. But I want to ask both of you guys, what is the one choice that you make every day that you think that you believe everybody should make every day? What's the one choice?
Go ahead, babe.
You always say, go ahead, babe. I'm like, you go ahead.
You want me?
Try to give each other time to think, huh? You go ahead. Now you go ahead. I'm not ready yet. Hold on.
I'm an impromptu guy. I already got it. But
mine would be to be grateful. It's a choice, and I think that if you're not grateful, you can't be content. You know, gratitude precedes anything that you want. You have to be grateful for what you currently have to work towards what you want. So I feel like constantly being in a state of gratitude is a part of success on the highest level. You know, if you're unhappy at any point, go to what you're grateful for, and not just, oh, I have a bed. That should be something, but it is. No, God gave me a mind to grow. I have resources on. If you don't have any money, go on YouTube. There's no excuse. Like, you can do anything within the world of resources. So starting at gratitude, I think, is a big choice for me daily, to where no matter what's going on in my life, I have so much to be grateful for, not just on a surface level, but within me. I'm grateful for, like I said, a functioning brain, a functioning body, a functioning, healthy, everything, you know. So I feel gratitude is a choice, and many people are choosing to be ungrateful for what they have instead of looking at everything that they do have to work with. And I feel like when you get ahead, God, you acquire more on the way by using what you do have.
And I'm gonna completely 100% agree with that, because it ties in. It ties in with God.
Yeah,
it's you being grateful is, and if you understand that. And I hate the saying when people say they're self-made. I'm like, bro, okay, you're self-made.
Sure, yeah.
But knowing that you're God-made, whenever you are grateful, you're not grateful in a selfish way. You are grateful from what you know that has been bestowed upon you. So, you know, just me waking up. Whenever I do wake up and she's not in the gym, I get to wake up and look at one of the greatest things to be grateful about. I'm like, God dang, bro, look at that thing right now, boy. I've been like, woo! I've been like that. I'm telling you, that bring God out your mouth real quick. I've been like, did I just say that in vain? Hold on. Good God, you are great. I appreciate it. Yeah, so definitely gratitude.
No, that's dope. That's dope. You know, the Bible does say, you know, he that finds his wife finds a good thing. So go ahead and praise her. It's all good. You know what I'm saying? That's what's up. And now I got to switch over to, what is the one habit that you think everybody should build? What's the one habit?
The one habit that everybody should build? I think the one habit that everybody should build is to habitually get rid of all bad habits. I
do like that. That's I haven't heard that one. I haven't heard one. That was very different. Yeah.
Thank you.
Wow. Yeah.
Literally.
That's correct.
Like.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. It's kind of like they say, you can't. It's like, just that really is dope. You can't add on to that. Like, you know, if you already have bad, you're trying to add on. All you're doing is you have to cleanse out the core or the negative stuff and then add in. So that's dope. Sheesh, the one thing. Okay, so this is gonna be like hilarious, but I mean, I feel like it's important, especially because you probably wouldn't expect it. But you gotta have fun. I feel that if you don't, you are wasting life. The pursuit of money causes people just to dead. So it's like, you know, if you're pursuing money, since this is around a lot of money talk, even if it's pursuing a great body, you gotta have fun. You gotta have a fun workout. You gotta have fun in your food. You know, like, you gotta have fun. So whatever you can do within your day, many people think of a schedule and they're like, oh my God, I don't want to have a schedule. I schedule fun into my schedule. So, you know, that's something that I feel like every day you have to do. Otherwise, you will just go dead. And that's how, you end up just kind of miserable. So I say fun. You gotta have fun.
Oh, dope. I love it. I definitely think having fun is important. I always say, no matter how much money you make, it's not about the money. It's about getting that. It's about having fun, because no one wants to be at a job that they're making a lot of money and they're not passionate about. They're not happy that they're there. And it really comes down to having fun. Like they just don't feel like they can be themselves. And I think if you're having fun, you can be yourself. So I definitely agree. Exactly. So, you both have dropped so much information for people on here and our listeners. So I have to say, what are, kind of like the last take. So what's the last take? Like, what's the last thing you want to say before we head out of here?
Baby, you want to go? You want to say your last?
You know what I would say.
Well, yeah, I was going to say my last thing would be, one, this podcast might be long for y'all, so you might have to pause this thing, keep, take notes and then go back through. But also, I would say really, 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 really look into, of course, trading. Go to our website, check us out. Follow me on the gram if you want to. My app name is Storm Bijan. If you want to just follow I do have a lot of fun, so my page is probably fun. B, you better follow me too, because I want you to follow me. Follow you back though.
She just called me out. She called me out right on the podcast. Not even like after the show, just like right on the podcast.
I don't think he follows me, but it's all good.
But right now.
Okay. But no, so yeah, follow me and I think pursue greatness in all ways, and just like, everything that we touched on, your spirituality, like you said, everything that you said, your spiritual mindset, your mentality, your physical mindset, of course, your financial mindset, and of course, all of those elements play the role of the balance of life. I feel like you got to go after those things, become a better person, to have the best relationships that you want. And I just think you got to keep listening to this podcast, because it's dope. Honestly, it's a very, very cool experience.
Yeah, you got 2 for the price of 1.
No, and B is amazing. And I want to say thank you. He's a constant, but I want to say thank you to you. You're a great interviewer. And I definitely appreciate you. I love your vibe. I don't like your vibe. I love your vibe. And I know that you'll continue to bless people with the content that you put out. So I think that, you're a rock star, like for real. And I want you to know that.
Oh, I appreciate that. Dang, shoot. Thank you. I definitely
follow me on the gram already. It's cool. I had to throw that out there.
Hey, I told you, if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. I did it right now. So, I did it right now. I swear. I'm like, if you probably got a request for me right now. I'm telling you. So, what's your last take?
I would just say to keep God first. That's what I tell one of my friends. He actually is in the NBA now. I tell him that all the time, because I specifically tell him that because I know where we come from, and I know the types of things that can be thrown at you when overnight you're a millionaire, literally like overnight.
Right.
So just to keep God first, you're able to make sure that you're not getting into anything too deep. And if you're keeping God first and you're going through that Bible, in Ecclesiastes, it says, invest your money in foreign trade, and one of these days you will make profit. So keep God first. 11:1, you will see that it actually tells you to trade Forex. I'm just saying, we won out here, baby. We won.
That's to be the best. That's to be the best plug. And this is the part where I say, last take, but now the shameless plug is, where can people find more of you, which you already said, but say it again. Where can they find more of you, and how can they invest in your course?
I jumped around all fast. Well, my Instagram, my Facebook, so Storm Bijan, it's STORMBIJAN. So just at Storm Bijan is my Instagram. And I was going to say, B, I don't think you follow me because I don't have a request, but
she got 2 pages.
You can public follow me, bro. But no,
2 pages? Dang.
The other one got made, like that one I don't use. The other one is my main, Storm Bijan, just at Storm Bijan. So that is my Instagram page. You can also friend me on Facebook, Storm Bijan Bryant. So STORMBIJAN and then BRYANT. And then on top of that, our website, generationblack.com or genblackfx.com. And the courses, we have Signals, which is, learning, not learning, but just taking our trades. So every day we send out our trades. When we win money, you win money. When we lose money, you lose money, but we win a lot. So, so it's a great opportunity to learn hands-on. And then for actually really learning, you can take our pre-recorded curriculum course, and that also has live streams weekly. We do Q&A with our students. That's $197. So the signals are $97. The pre-recorded course is like a school. You have your own login. You get to go through, you take quizzes throughout each session. Like I said, it's all built in the site for you. So I say it's like having a Facebook profile. You can check that out. And you can hit us up by email, storm@generationblack.com if you have private inquiries. And maybe that would be you.
And to reach out to me, Air Keita at Facebook. That is EIR. So just imagine air that you breathe, but instead of the A, it's E. So EIR Keita. And the same for Instagram, Air Keita. And also subscribe to my new YouTube channel, Air Keita. I'm going to be giving away some money every week to a lucky subscriber. Building that YouTube channel, not only for Forex, but also business, life, and success coaching. So you can contact me via email at air@generationblack.com. And again, our website is generationblack.com. And I hope to be hearing from y'all.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. So, guys, you guys heard it here first. The king and queen, Jay-Z and Beyonce, of course, trading.
Bro, you have got
have dropped so much knowledge. So, like I said, guys, this is the only podcast that I'm releasing this week. For this week. So, I want you to take some time, listen to this. If you need to pause it, go back, listen to it. But take one thing from here, implement it into your life, and watch it change. Go follow them on Instagram, follow their success, and not only their success, but their failure as well. And they're so transparent. So, guys, with that being said, I'm not going to make this longer than it has to be, but I love you guys, praying for you guys. Y'all be blessed. And peace out.
Thank you.
All
We
right.
love you too, man. Thank
Love
you
you
so
too, man.
much.
Hey, my good friend, thank you for listening. Reviews matter, so please leave us a review so other amazing people just like you can find us and listen to us. Also, remember to join us in our free Facebook group so we can build a real relationship and get to know each other. And you will find other extraordinary men and women on similar journey as you. Do not forget, take action on just one thing you heard today. Get a result from that and grow from your experience from that result. You have power in your choice. Until next time, my good friend, I'll see you later. This is Coach B.